We all dream of something or the other. But have you experienced in a form of mystery and some supernaturalism? Hello and welcome to all my students, and today we are here with a poet, Samuel Taylor Coleridge, who is a hero, or you can a poet of dreams, and his poetry carries several mystery and supernaturalism with it. So today we will talk about his notable works, to how many periods he belongs, and how his poetry have been divided into several periods. We will also talk about the important points that are for your NET examination or SET examination and other examinations too. Literature, again and again I tell you, is a knowledge, something of deep thinking. We all think a lot, but there are few who think deeply. So literature is all about that. And you should always love literature, then only it will make you interesting while you're reading something or you're learning something. It will be interesting when you will start loving that subject. So friends, let's start with Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Will take up Kubla Khan, The Rime of Ancient Marina, Cristobal. These three works we will take in detail, and we will also discuss some of the other point. But if you have yet not subscribed my channel, please go to my YouTube channel and subscribe it now. And if you find this video useful, don't forget to like my video. Let's start. The very introduction says that Samuel Taylor Coleridge had a unique contribution in English poetry. He plays an important part in English poetry because he and Wordsworth was a founder of Romantic movement. He was also a romantic poet if we talk about Coleridge, and the essential qualities that Coleridge poetry contains are the elements of mystery, as I already told you, and his thought process impart him a great power of imagination. It gives a unique he have a unique thought process, and he had a great power of imagination. Okay, he also deals with the subjects like supernaturalism. He also carries the qualities of a dreamer. That means he's a poet of dreams, which can be seen in his poetries. Like when we will see, we'll have several dream. If you can notice, he has written his poems out of those dreams, like Kubla Khan. Okay, now he, like Wordsworth, is a great poet of nature. He also likes nature, and he has written a few poetries on nature. He believed the presence of divine spirit in the objects of nature. He said that everything present here have a divine spirit in it. Now, when we talk about him, there were four periods in his poetic career. And when we talk about his career was to start when he met Wordsworth. Means his career started only when he met Wordsworth. Okay, now don't forget this point, that he's being bestowed by God with a great quality as a poet, because he have that imagination, that thought process that gives him the best quality or the creative quality as a poet. Okay, now looking through his poetic career, we come to know that was divided into four periods. The very first period, please, if you all want to remember this date wise, you can remember, and I have given you the poetries that he has written, but we need not go in detail to all the poetries. Some important poetries that are important, I have taken them in detail, so you can do as it is. So the very first period, 1794 to 1796, He has written The Song of Pixies, Lines on an Autumnal Evening, Lefty, Religious Musings. Now, this first period, when we see, he just started writing. So there were different, see if you can see, Lines on an Autumnal Evening, Religious Music, Lefty, and the Songs of Pixies. Now the second period that he started was from 1797 to 98, where we can see that he deals with the lovely and charming poems like Ode to the Departing Years, Ode to France, The Lime Tree Bar, Frost at Midnight, Fears in Solitude. Then the most important period, that is the third period, we come and we see that here he shows his intelligence and his career was at heights. He uses his creativity by writing the rhyme of ancient Marina, Christabel, and Kubla Khan. And these three are really very important. Then comes the last period, and it shows a decline. Um, he had a sudden decline, and there he has written Ode to Dejection. This is a personal poem where he mentions himself. We will let you know about Ode to Dejection because it is also important, and Love and Hope. So this was a small introduction of Coleridge and the four periods जो उनके poetic career का है, that I have already told you. Now we'll go with the works that are important. So let's start. The very first work that we talk about is Kubla Khan. It is an exceptional dream fragment, and he expresses it so beautifully and skillfully. And he have seen a dream, and from there this starts. The very poem starts when he started seeing a dream. Now let's see what this poem all about. A vision or a dream imagination is the main point of this poem. Okay. While Coleridge was reading, he had a dose of opium and he fell asleep. And his mind becomes inactive or in the state of torpor, and he imagines a beautiful dream. He says when he is awake, he tells the beauty and the charm that he has seen is an exceptional one, and he had not seen anything like that till the life he has lived. So he was so he found it so nice that he wanted to write everything in his paper. So let's see, as Coleridge came back to his consciousness, he wanted to pen down his dream in the same sequence which appeared to him during the state of torpor. That means when his mind was inactive. Torpor is when his mind was inactive, right? When he was asleep. But was interrupted by a man. A man came and for business purpose from Purlock, and he came to visit him, and he took an hour, and this made him forget few fragments of his dreams. Earlier he had a clear picture to what he had dreamt, and so he wanted to write everything. But later he forgets, and there were only, I think, 8 to 10 lines that he remembered, and that is presented in Kubla Khan. He said he had a clear picture of Kubla Khan building a house of pleasure in the Naidu. So the Naidu is a place where Kubla Khan builds a pleasure dome, and was of ice, and he said he saw a rare beauty and charm. It was a house of pleasure, and he built a palace in Zenaidu, and Alpha was the sacred river passing by that place. Now, this particular explanation is being expressed in the most perfect imagery form, and he said that he made a cave of ice, and this particular dome was located in a sunny area. So he's telling, and when he went there, Kubla also hears his ancestors' warning of war and danger. यहाँ तक तो we all know about Kubla Khan, right? He built a dome of ice, and where he built Zenaidu, वहाँ पे कौन सी sacred river थी? Please remember, Alpha. Okay, and there he also hears his ancestors' warning of war and danger. But this Kubla Khan is divided into two parts. The very first part I have already explained you, but in the second part of poetry, Coleridge shows the power of his imagination in the form of poetry, where he builds a dome in the air with music in it, because he wanted to pen down and he wanted to show the power of his imagination, and he wanted to make use of that creativity, that imagination, in the form of poetry. So here he describes the concrete form of his vision, where he builds a dome in the air and there is music in it. Okay? Now, the qualities that his poetic art is shown in Kubla Khan is an exceptional one. So I hope Kubla Khan is very clear. I have written all the important points, and if some points are missed, I have already spoken in my audio. So please, if you are listening to this video, listening and reading both are important. Do not miss anything. Maybe some students think that let's not hear the video, we'll just jot down few points. Please listen to it too, so that you can understand. And one more thing, I use very simple English, and I use very simple words in my presentation, so that who don't even understand few things about English, they can also go through my lecture. Still, if you have any problem, you can comment on the comment box. But please don't ask me to give my lectures in Hindi. I can help you out, no doubt, but because we are English students, so I would only go for English lectures. Please try to learn it, and I will help you. Please go through these lectures and you will be helped, and you can help yourself, right? So Kubla Khan is all about a dream fragment. Now moving on to the next, that is the rhyme of ancient Marina. Now this is a story of a young boy, and with his companions he was going to a wedding feast, and there he is stopped by a marina, an ancient marina. He wanted that young boy to hear a story of a ship that he wanted to narrate. He starts narrating about the voyage that took place, and he also said when he was young, this story is about when he was young, and they were struck by a heavy storm, and they started their voyage from South Pole, and because of this storm they were taken to the place which was all surrounded by ice. All right, when they started their travel, he said that when they started their travel, it was a sunny weather, but suddenly a heavy storm was struck, and they were taken to a place which was surrounded by ice. And he was alone with 200 sailors. Now, there suddenly appears the messenger of joy and happiness, Albatross, that came through that snow fog. albatross, a messenger of joy and happiness. This bird came and there was a ray of hope. They all were happy because it was moving along the ship. But this mariner got impulsive and he killed the bird. And for this inhuman behavior, a curse fell on his ship. And the other sailors started dying due to thirst as the temperature becomes very high and they did not get anything to drink. Then they had to go under many sufferings as only this marina, this ancient marina was left behind. And then he sees a water snake. He was very guilty of his sin that he did, and his heart was full of sin. He had passed through many sufferings. By seeing water snake, he started praying. And the love for water snake breaks the spell of curse. जो उनकी ship में curse आ गया था, and suddenly all died and everything turned into black. He could not see anything. So he started praying to that water snake and their spell was broken and his ships returned back to England. By this lesson, he started spreading love among all the creatures of God. He said, "He prayeth best who loveth best all things both great and small. For the dear God who loveth us, he made and loveth all." The supernaturalism makes this poem very significant. And the another important point that we notice in this rhyme of ancient Marina is the dramatical element present in it. When a Marina, if you have seen that, when a Marina, he was full of terror. That was the dramatic element that was present in the poem. So this is also interesting one, a story about a mariner and when he was young and the voyage that he started from South Pole, and from where they started their voyage was from South Pole, and these boys were going, this young boy was going to a wedding feast. Please remember this point because they can ask you in one word, and this is very important. You should also remember the bird's name, that is albatross, and how many sailors were there with him. He went back to which place, that is England, back to his place, and what kind of things are present in his poem, that is dramatic element is present, and uh, this poem becomes more interesting and significant by its supernaturalism. Okay, so moving on to the next poem. Now this is Cristobal. It is an unfinished work of Coleridge. Please remember, Coleridge's unfinished work is Cristobal. One day in midnight, beautiful young Christabel went out to the oak tree for praying, where she met a demon, Geraldine, who was in the form of beautiful woman who is being protected as a victim of being kidnapped by some people. Christabel, she went out one midnight, and as she was praying near the oak tree, she meets a demon named Geraldine. She was in a form of a beautiful woman and she shows to Cristobal that she's being a victim and she was being kidnapped by some people. By hearing all this, Cristobal, she takes her to her palace and she says that his father will help her out, and because it was night time and she doesn't wanted to disturb other people, so she took her to her room where Geraldine spell a magic on Christabel, and so on the story goes on. But as it is a unfinished work, so it leaves no mark of this poetry. So you need to know that good and evil both are present in this poem. Good is represented by Cristobal and bad is represented by the demon Geraldine. Please don't forget the name of the demon. Now it is a weird tale, and it was woven in such a way that it shows mystery, magic, and supernaturalism. Okay, please don't forget unfinished work Cristobal. So we are done with Kubla Khan, the rhyme of ancient Marina, and Cristobal. Now let's see what other works are left. When we talk about the other works, we should not forget about Dejection and Ode. It is a personal poem where poet expresses to have lost his creativity. Now he bewails that he had lost the creative energy which nature had given him at the time of birth. And he quotes from please don't forget this line, he quotes from the medieval English ballad of Sir Patrick Spence, where he sees a new moon which is forecasting about the upcoming storm. And this poem is all about his personal feelings, that he's feeling that his poetic powers are being declined and he has lost his creativity. So please don't forget Dejection and Ode. You can be asked that in which poem poets talk about his lost poetic powers, that is Dejection and Ode. Dejection itself tells you the declining part, and here we talk about Coleridge poetic powers. Okay, now Coleridge is being valued as a critic. As a critic, he's being valued a lot nowadays. Looking through his Biographia Literaria shows the various principles of poetic composition. He was very particular about the poetic compositions, and here in this Biographia Literaria, he also marks the fallacies of Wordsworth's theory of poetic diction. Okay, so I hope we are done with all important points. But yes, my note is still left. So let's. In Kubla Khan, poet was reading a passage in Percha's pilgrimage and later fell asleep. Please don't forget, they can ask you this, that what passage was poet reading, from where this passage Coleridge was reading when he fell asleep. So please don't forget, here we come to an end, and I will keep uploading my videos. I know your exam is coming, so don't worry, I will upload all the lectures and theories too. I know theories are left, and I will upload it very soon. So keep watching and don't forget to subscribe it. Thank you.